Welcome to my next Stranger Things Season 3 episode review video. Before I get into that, though, pretty important, if you aren't caught up to the point where I am in rewatching or watching Stranger Things, or you're just not entirely sure, then you definitely need to take the initiative and pay attention to the episode's title, which of course I'll mention as well as put in the description. If that happens to be the case, if you find that you're not caught up, it would be my recommendation that you don't watch this detailed review any further to avoid any potential spoilers. And full disclosure, thus far I've watched every single episode of Stranger Things already. Looking forward to the 5th and final season of Stranger Things. I'm hearing late October or November for that season, and I'm guessing when it does come out they'll take a break halfway through, so people either have to stay on Netflix or get Netflix again to finish the show. But Stranger Things is one of my favorite TV shows of all time. Definitely in the top 20, and it's very possible that it is in the top 10. Doing this rewatch and letting the show resonate a little bit more will help me determine where Stranger Things is in my ranking. But with all that said, this will be Stranger Things Season 3, Chapter 6, or Season 3, Episode 6. The title of this episode is called Pluribus Unum. And this will be my review reaction recap after just finishing watching the episode. I don't know for sure if I pronounced that right. So anyway, under Starcourt Mall, Steve, Dustin, Robin, and Erica watch the Russians holding the gate open before moving to leave. They realize that the guard Steve beat up is gone, and just as alarms start to blare and the guards find him, they are chased through the base and barricade themselves in a room. Dustin and Erica escape into the docks while Steve and Robin are captured. Then at the hospital, the skin on the back of the Will Byers' neck flares up as Nancy flees from the monster made of Tom and Bruce. She barricades herself in a room, but the mind flare actually dissolves itself into ooze and slides under the door before it can kill her. 11 arrives and throws it out the window. The group hurries outside, but to find its remains sliding down a sewer grate where it rejoins the mind flare. A watching Billy tells Heather it's time. Larry Klein meets with the Russian at the assembling 4th of July fun fair, and the Russian berates him for not taking care of Hopper. Klein insults the Russian's abilities and is attacked, being reminded that Hopper is his problem and that he will be killed the next day if he does not find Hopper. Hopper brings Alexei the meal he requested, but he turns it down when he finds out that Hopper got him the wrong flavor of Slurpee. Communicating through Murray, Alexei adamantly refuses to talk, and Hopper throws him outside with the keys to their car and his handcuffs. Joyce and Murray stare at him in shock. He explains that Alexei understands the Russians will kill him for presumed betrayal, and he therefore has no better options. Hopper turns out to be right, despite Alexei unlocking himself and getting into the car, and Alexei agrees to talk. Dustin explains to Erica the events of the past 2 years and why the gate being reopened is so dangerous. Erica accepts everything save for the idea that Lucas would be competent enough to save the world. Erica does the math on how long it will take them to walk back to the elevator. Dustin proclaims her as a nerd, which she attempts to deny. Steve is violently interrogated by a Russian colonel who does not believe his story of accidentally ending up in the base. And then after being brutally tortured and unconscious, Steve and Robin get dragged into an interrogation room where they are tied up together. 11 searches for the flayed in the void. Mike expresses anxiety at her being under for so long, and Max argues with him about 11's limitations. I said not ill limitations. Nancy calls the places that complained about the rats to see if any more of their chemicals are gone missing, but finds nothing. Mike and Max's argument grows, she and 11 spying on the boys, coming up to Lucas's horror, climaxing when Mike blurts out that he dislikes the plan because it puts 11 in danger, and he loves her and cannot bear to lose her again. 11 emerges a moment later, having missed the conversation and informing the group that she has found Billy. Alexei identifies the Russian machine as the key, and the properties brought up by the Russians are located near the transformers used to steal electricity. The Russians are in Hawkins specifically to harness the power of the gate, which is slowly opening. Joyce hurries to the phone to call the kids, and Alexei notes that 2 people are needed to shut the machine down, and that the base holding it is impenetrable. Dustin and Erica pop out of a room full of canisters of green liquid and steal a Russian loading car. Erica notices a cage large enough to hold a Demogorgon and steals a cattle prod. Steve groggily awakens and he and Robin try to shimmy over to a nearby table to cut their ropes. They fall over on their sides. Robin laughs at the absurdity of the situation, reminiscing about how she shared a history class with Steve and was obsessed with Steve, and he was not even aware that she existed. And then the Russians arrive with Dr. Zarkov, who injects them with truth serum. 11 has found Billy sitting alone in his room, and they conclude it's a trap to lure them. 11 remembers seeing her mother's memories and realizes she can do the same with Billy to find the Mind Flayer's source. 11 assures Mike that she will be safe and enters the void. Billy shows her the townsfolk's possessions and the Mind Flayer with a physical form before she falls into a memory of young Billy on the beach in California with his mother. A storm flashing red lightning rolls in. 11 walks towards it. Hopper calls the men from Hawking's laboratory, warning them about the Russians and telling them to contact Sam Owens for backup, giving them Murray's number in the end, which horrifies him. Annoyed at Hopper's lack of urgency, Joyce calls back and intimidates Hopper's contact into moving things along before ordering the adults back to Hawkins. The truth serum is botched and only gets Steve and Robin high, but she confesses to finding the code when Zarkov almost removes Steve's fingernail. Steve taunts the Colonel, revealing Dustin's name in the process, and Dustin himself distracts the guards by dropping the green fluid through the floor, damaging several layers of wiring. He and Robin burst in and electrocute Zarkov to death, freeing Steve and Robin. And then 11 sees memories of Neil Hargrove berating Billy for his weakness and abusing his wife, causing her to leave him. And now teenaged Billy beats up other children and is introduced to a young Max. 11 hears Billy shouting in a storm and stumbles upon steelworks in the eye of the storm, which she relays to her friend. She leaves the void to find the empty cabin, and the lights flicker as the Mind Flayer appears to her in Billy's body, revealing she is still in the void. As he tells her that he can now see her, the Flayed, now made up of dozens of people, activate amidst the 4th of July celebrations and converge on the mill. The Mind Flayer tells 11 that she let it in, and now she must let it stay. He tells her that he has been building something up for her, and that they are going to end it, which includes her and everyone she loves. She throws him away and exits the void for good, breaking down in Mike's arms. The Flayed descend to the mill's basement, where they melt into flesh and add themselves to the Mind Flayer's body. Now fully formed, it bursts out of the basement and roars, ending this episode of Stranger Things. So I'm scoring this episode an 8.5 out of... Recorded too many videos today. I'm scoring this episode an 8.5 out of 10. My character of the episode is going to be Steve, followed by Robin and 11. They all did really good in this episode. I mean, everybody does good. So you've heard everything that I have to say. Now it's your turn. If you're a fan of Stranger Things and you want to help me out with the YouTube algorithm, please make sure that you'll smash the like button, share the video with a friend, put this video on any one of your social media platforms. Don't forget to sound off the comment section about what your thoughts are on this episode of Stranger Things. What would you rate it? Who would be your character of the episode? And then last but certainly not least, don't forget to hit that sub button. Subscribe to the channel. You're watching the video anyway. Help me get over 100,000 subscribers. Join the team. Show your damn support. And be a part of something special. And you never know what you're going to see on JDev TV.